Hello and welcome to another Dawn and Julia Create. So Dawn has set the challenge for us this week and it is some watercolour play, which I'm really looking forward to because one of the goals that I set for myself this year was to focus on watercolours, and I've not really done that, and it's now almost October. So now's as good a time as any. I'm really looking forward to just a little bit of chill time with some paints, and Dawn has asked us to create some watercolour leaves. So yeah, let's just chill and paint together. I have got some mixed media paper and I'm actually sketching out using an Inktense pencil. Now I find that when I am doing watercolours and things like that, it is really useful to draw with a watercolour pencil. If you try and use a HB pencil and then rub it out later, it just always seems to leave marks. Whereas a watercolour pencil will blend into the paint. So I just sort of sat and doodled. It was very therapeutic, and once I had filled out the sheet I then got to watercolouring. I'm using two palettes. I mostly used the Prima Decadent Pies, and I've got a little bit of the Jane Davenport Mermaid collection. And yeah, this was really good practice. What's lovely is it is autumn right now, and when it comes to watercolours, one of the most magical things about it is watching different colours blend together and just letting water do its thing. And the transition from like the yellows into the greens and browns just really worked so well. So it was so nice. One thing I'm really enjoying about the Dawn and Julia Creates last time and this time is that this was really mindful. I mean, I'm going quite quickly on this video for the sake of trying to keep it interesting for you to watch, but I was a good couple of hours working on this particular project, and I just really chilled out and relaxed, and it was just so refreshing to be able to do that. I wasn't having a great day, and you know, I felt so much better after just a little bit of time with me and my paints. So as you can see, what I was saying there earlier, the fact that I am just sort of painting away and painting over those lines, that they do just sort of disappear as soon as you start painting, because they are water reactive. So you're not left with any sort of nasty lines or marks. It all just looks very natural and gorgeous. I have to say that one thing is I did struggle with painting this. I don't know if you can see, there's a slight curve there to my paintbrush. That's because I don't look after my paintbrushes very well. Yeah, I have realised that I think I'm going to go up to the range in the next couple of days and just completely buy myself brand new paintbrushes, because I'm really bad at looking after them. And so they just sit in a pot. In fact, I've got a pot of paintbrushes sat in front of me just now, and those paintbrushes have probably sat there for more than a week, and that is a sure way to damage your paintbrushes. So I think I might keep some of those aside for mixed media and go and get myself a whole load of new brushes for using with watercolour, because yeah, I did sort of give myself a little bit of a handicap doing these, because I was working with a paintbrush that yeah, had a very strange bend in it and didn't really allow me to paint properly. But I'm still really happy with the results. I think it looks really nice and vibrant. I'm really interested to see what Dawn was done, because the instructions were kind of paint some leaves with watercolour and make a journal page from them. So it was quite basic with but really interesting. And as I said, it was really good because I'd been wanting to play with watercolours and learn a bit more. Now, Dawn, as I've just said, didn't give a huge amount of instructions with regards to what the journal page would be like. So I feel I've possibly broken the brief here, because I do start adding other things in, which Dawn didn't really give permission for, but I will redeem myself at the end, as you will see. So I just take out, this is my Pink Pig journal, and I'm just putting some washes down from the same colour palette that I painted the leaves. We've got some blue into a brown and green, and then whilst that paint is still wet, I have splattered some blue, the browns and the golds in, and I'm just going to pop that aside, let that dry naturally, and it sort of splits out. Now, I decided to cut this sheet out and cut all those leaves out individually. That was the plan in my head when I started the project. I had an idea of what I wanted to do, so I just thought I'd paint a whole load of leaves, cut them all out and stick them in my journal page. I have to say, I was quite sad. I actually really found the sheet of just watercolour leaves really pleasing. So, you know, I might do something with that a little bit later, but for just now, I am fussy cutting out all of these leaves. Now I have got this brand new paper pack that has been launched on Monday, and this girl that I had already, whilst in prep, had already coloured her in and paper pieced her with those particular papers. So she was all ready to go. So sorry that I have not shown that. Short on time once again. Life. Oh, life. Anyway, that's another story. So I had this idea. I don't know if you're like me, but I absolutely love in the autumn time just walking through leaves, kicking up the leaves. There's just something really magical about autumnal leaves. So I basically just took all those leaves that I'd painted, cut them all out, and then I am sticking them at the base of this girl's feet. So as I said, she is from a brand new stamp set called Iced Coffee. And I really love this range because it can take you into winter, but it's also perfect for autumn, as we can see. So I've just kept this page really, really simple. As I said, I'm just thinking of pile of leaves, kicking through it. So I'm not sure if I have fulfilled the brief on this one, Dawn. I'm really sorry if not, because you didn't specify as to whether we were allowed extras or not. And I've just taken the liberty to do so because this was what was in my head. Yeah, so we'll find out. I'll find out when I watch Dawn's back as to how badly I cheated and how much I deserve to be on the naughty step. Will I get sent to the naughty step finally? We normally tend to let each other off, but you know, this could be the occasion. I just wanted to deepen the ground. I'm a firm believer in shadowing, so I brought the same paints in again, and I just sort of went under where all those leaves were sitting to kind of help to ground the piece and just to add a little bit of depth and dimension. So I sort of start off with this rusty brown here, and then I am going to take a deeper brown in as well and just yeah, use that to particularly ground my page. It was getting a little bit dark here, so what I did was add lots of extra water, and then once I had got that nice and wet, I was then able to, I'm pausing here because I need to catch up with the video, there you go. I was able to sort of lift it with my rag. Now, this is a pad that I bought not at this year's visit to the fringe, but last year's. So I was really wanting to work on watercolour, and I had treated myself to some watercolour pads. So this I got from the Cass Art Shop in Edinburgh last year. And as you can see, as yet, I have not used it. So I was really regretting the fact that I chopped up that last particular page. So I decided to do a page in this book. So again, I've got my Inktense pencil. By this point, I was really in the flow. I think my leaves were far stronger in this one than the last one. I would honestly highly recommend this as a mindful activity. As I said, I felt so much better by the end of my evening of doing this. The doodles, leaves are just shapes. I mean, they're practically love hearts or slightly offset ovals. Anybody can draw a leaf. You can always use a reference picture off Pinterest or something like that if you're particularly nervous, but just I really got into the flow. And in this page, because I was wanting to keep it as a whole, I decided to sort of make sure the leaves interlinked with each other pretty well and that the shapes worked as well. Now, my original intention for this particular pad was there is a lovely quote from Anne of Green Gables, which just happens to be one of my most favouriteest books. And the adaptation with Ellen Montgomery, no, she's the writer, with Megan Follows, that is my favourite one. But there's a saying that Anne of Green Gables says that I'm so glad that I live in a world of Octobers. So my intention for this particular page was to fill it all up with the leaves like we did in the earlier sort of practice run that ended up getting chopped up. And then I was going to, in the centre, have this saying, I'm so glad live in a world full of Octobers, with some leaves just to embellish it. That is a real art journal practice. I think I'm a crafter and I love crafting and I love art journaling, but the fact that I design my own ranges, I'm also an artist. And I tend to sort of separate the two rather than sort of pull it together. And I think as an artist, you would paint a page like that and just leave it and just celebrate the fact that you had done the watercolours. So the more that I was getting involved in this page, I was feeling mindful, I was getting really happy with how it all looked, the more I just wanted to leave it as is. As I said, this is my watercolour book. I watch so many videos from so many artists that literally just paint like this in a book. They don't feel the need to have to stick a sentiment on it or embellish it or anything like that. So I just left it as it was because I just thought it was really, really pretty. And I love those autumnal colours. And it's really funny that somebody was saying to me in the live the other day that, they're very different colours for you, Julia. Beautiful colours. And I love autumn. It's my favourite time of year. And I love the colours in autumn. But yeah, if I was to think about crafting or designing or clothes that I wear, these aren't colours that I would generally pick up. So I'm really pleased with how this works, and I'm really happy because I feel like I've had a really good play at watercolours. This was on my goals, as we mentioned, for this year to work on it more. So I've created one sort of artist style, just doodle watercolour, and one more traditional art journal page. So I hope you like it. Please do pop across and see what our lovely Dawn has done. And if you enjoy watercolours, you might enjoy this video here where we make 3 simple cards using watercolours.